Right now, you remember the pain, the betrayal, the disrespect, the moments when people underestimated you, talked about you, doubted you, turned against you when you needed support the most, and there were times you almost broke, times you cried silently, times you questioned your worth, times you wondered why people could be so cruel, because all you did was care sincerely, try honestly, love genuinely, yet somehow you were the one left hurt. But listen carefully, Jesus is saying, my child. What tried to break you is about to build you. Because the pain you experienced was not meaningless, the betrayal was not the end of your story, the rejection was not your final identity. I was using every difficult moment to strengthen you, to awaken you, to prepare you for a higher level of your life, Jesus says, my child. They saw your kindness as weakness, but I saw your strength. Because even after everything, you kept going, you survived what many people could not survive emotionally, you carried pain quietly, you healed silently, you kept faith during moments that could have destroyed your spirit, and that matters more than you realize. Jesus is saying, my child. Your endurance is about to be rewarded. The same people who underestimated you will not understand your transformation, because they only knew the version of you that was hurting. They never imagined the version of you that would heal. Grow, rise, and become stronger than before, Jesus says, my child. I am about to elevate you beyond what hurt you. Not just financially, not just emotionally, but spiritually, mentally, personally, you are stepping into a season where your peace becomes stronger than your pain ever was, and once that happens, the things that once hurt you deeply will no longer control your emotions. You will stop needing validation from people who misunderstood you. You will stop explaining yourself to those committed to doubting you. You will stop chasing acceptance from people who never valued you correctly, because now you know who you are. Jesus is saying, my child. Elevation begins when you stop shrinking yourself for others. So don't focus on revenge, don't focus on proving people wrong, don't waste your energy trying to make everyone understand your value, because your growth, your healing, your peace, will speak louder than words ever could, and what is coming next in your life will make everything you survived worth it. Jesus says, my child. Your story is changing now. If you believe your pain is turning into elevation, type Amen and keep rising with faith. Now, something inside you starts changing, not loudly, but deeply. Jesus is saying, my child. Before I elevate your life externally, I elevate your mindset internally. One of the first signs is this: you stop reacting the same way. Things that once triggered you no longer control you. People who once upset you no longer have the same power over your emotions, and slowly, you begin choosing peace over drama, growth over revenge, healing over bitterness. Jesus says, my child. Elevation requires emotional maturity. Another sign: you start outgrowing environments that once felt normal to you. Certain conversations feel empty, certain habits feel draining. Certain people no longer align with your energy, because your spirit is changing, your standards are changing, your future is changing. Jesus is saying, my child. Not everyone can go where I am taking you. At this stage, you may spend more time alone, more reflective, more focused on yourself, and while loneliness may try to scare you, this isolation is not punishment, it is preparation, because I am teaching you how to hear my voice clearly, without the noise of everyone else. Jesus says, my child. I separate before I elevate. Another sign: you feel a stronger desire for purpose. You stop wanting temporary things, you stop chasing shallow validation. You begin craving real peace, real growth, real alignment, and that desire is proof that your spirit is evolving. Jesus is saying, my child. I am preparing you for a higher level of life. You may also notice this: certain doors begin closing suddenly, plans change unexpectedly, people disappear without explanation, and while it feels uncomfortable, it is necessary, because elevation requires separation from what no longer belongs in your future. Jesus says, "My child, trust what is leaving, I am clearing space for what is coming." And what is coming will match the new version of you that is being built right now: stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more aligned. So don't fear this season, don't resist these changes, because your elevation has already begun. If you feel yourself entering a higher season of growth and elevation, type Amen and trust the transformation. Now, the changes around you become impossible to ignore. People are leaving, plans are shifting, certain things are no longer working the way they used to, and part of you wonders, why does it feel like everything is being taken away? But listen carefully, Jesus is saying, "My child, before elevation comes, there must be separation." Because not everything in your current life can go with you into your next season. Some people were distractions, some environments were limiting your growth, some habits were keeping you emotionally stuck, and if I allowed those things to remain, they would slow down the future I prepared for you. Jesus says, "My child, I remove what no longer aligns with who you are becoming." At first, this process feels painful, because loss always feels personal. You may think God is punishing you, rejecting you, taking things away unfairly, but the truth is, I am protecting your elevation, because some things feel good, but are dangerous for your future. Some connections feel familiar, but keep you spiritually exhausted. Some paths look exciting, but lead you away from your purpose. Jesus is saying, "My child, I will never bless what is destroying you." That is why certain doors close suddenly, that is why some relationships fade, that is why some plans collapse unexpectedly, not because your life is ending, but because your next chapter is beginning. And your next chapter requires a different environment, a different mindset, a different version of you. Jesus says, "My child, elevation cannot happen while you are still attached to what limits you." At this stage, you may feel lonely sometimes, confused sometimes, even emotionally exhausted, but do not mistake transition for failure. You are not falling apart, you are being rebuilt, stronger, wiser, more prepared than ever before. Jesus is saying, "My child, trust the pruning process." A tree must lose certain branches before it can grow higher, and sometimes, you must lose what no longer serves you before you can fully step into your elevation. So stop chasing what is leaving, stop forcing doors to reopen, stop grieving things God already decided to remove, because what is coming next will be healthier, more aligned, more peaceful, and worthy of the person you are becoming. Jesus says, "My child, release what is ending, your elevation depends on it." If you trust that God is removing what no longer belongs in your life, type Amen and let go with faith. Now, after all the pain, after all the isolation, after all the lessons and losses, something begins to change clearly, not just inside you anymore, but around you too. Jesus is saying, "My child, the season of hidden growth is coming to an end. Because everything I was building in private is about to become visible in your life. The confidence you struggled to find now feels natural, the peace you prayed for now surrounds your spirit, the strength you developed quietly now shows in the way you carry yourself." Jesus says, "My child, your transformation can no longer be hidden." And suddenly, new doors begin opening, new opportunities begin appearing, new people begin noticing your energy, because elevation changes the way you think, the way you speak, the way you move through life. You are no longer the version of yourself that begged for acceptance. You are no longer emotionally dependent on people who misunderstood you. You are no longer shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Jesus is saying, "My child, This is what healing looks like. At this stage, you stop chasing validation, you stop proving your worth, you stop fighting battles that no longer deserve your energy, because now, you understand your value deeply, and that changes everything. People may even begin noticing the difference in you, not because you are pretending, but because you genuinely changed, your mindset matured. Your spirit strengthened, your peace became stronger than your pain. Jesus says, "My child." Elevation will always separate you from your old identity. And now, the things you once cried over no longer control you, the rejection that once broke you no longer defines you, the people who hurt you no longer have power over your future, because you finally understand everything you survived was preparing you for this season, a season of confidence, alignment, growth, and visible blessings. Jesus is saying, "My child, walk boldly now, you are no longer who you used to be." If you feel yourself rising into a higher version of your life, type Amen and continue walking in confidence.